Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tuck Rule Takes episode 19, I believe. If it's not, that just, pretend we said the right one.
We were
Episode
never good
19.
at counting.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I don't know. So when I'm sitting there putting the title to the episodes, I'm like, shit, what? I always got to look back every single week. Mike Sullivan with me, as always, Liam McDade. Liam, I know you're a little bit under the weather, but you're pulling your flu game through. How's it going?
I'm fighting the good fight, keep my head above water, doing as much as I can. This was a self-inflicted sickness. I played football in 32-degree weather on Saturday. I was in a sleeveless. I was in shorts because that's the only way to play football. I glistened up the guns with some grease and oil, kind of make them shine in the moonlight. And I didn't have as good of a performance as I did last year. Finished with 7 tubs last year. Only had 2 this year. So I not ideal, but felt good to be back out there. And even the sickness right now with each that I have, it just reminds me that I was able to get out there and catch tubs. So I feel good. Even the sickness, I power through.
Well, there we go. That's what we do, I guess, at Tuck Rule.
I guess
Tuck Rule Takes. I mean, for me, no, I think it was like 70 or 68 or something in Florida over the weekend.
Asshole.
So, but
Rub
a lot of the Floridians were bundling up there. Ooh, it's getting a little nippy outside. Oh God. But I loved it. Oh my God, it's awesome. Yeah, I didn't get to play football, but there was some football over the weekend. The Patriots and the Titans. I think going into this, everybody was saying this was going to be the first real test. I got air quotes around that test.
Yep. We've been looking forward to this game for a while.
I think everybody has. It's kind of been one of the ones like, yeah, okay, the Browns were a nice pregame. The Panthers, good defense, but missing an offense. Chargers were really the first test, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But everybody just
the preliminary rounds.
Yeah, but people pretend like they just act like it didn't happen. So anyway, Patriots Titans, 36-13. It didn't feel like that.
No, not at all.
No, it felt like one of those games where it was too close, too much, which is weird because it's a game where the Patriots didn't trail at all. Pretty much had the game in the bag. Before we start with who we always start with, there was some interesting pregame. You see what Mike Vrabel did pregame?
No, I did not.
Yeah, he had his whole team huddle on the Patriots logo at midfield.
Suspect. I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah,
I had a bunch of friends at the game too. No one even talked about it.
Yeah. They post a couple of the reporters that were there, Patriots beat writers and all that. They took a picture of it and posted it. They were like, "Oh, there goes Vrabel." Huddle in there. In my eyes, you're kind of playing mind games with yourself at that point, because what are you doing?
I don't get it at all.
No.
I'm trying to think of what that would be doing. Like maybe after the game, then you're kind of rubbing in a cocky win by celebrating on center field. Plenty of Patriots players have done that to piss off other teams. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just as a pregame, I'm not really sure what Vrabel's getting at with that one.
It's weird. It's not like there was any there's no disrespect between Vrabel and the Patriots or Belichick and them.
If anything, he has more respect for the Patriots than any other team he plays.
Yeah, and probably the same for Belichick. Belichick probably has a lot of respect for him too, that's why it was such a weird thing. It was just such a weird thing to do. That's something you would see.
What did they do center field though?
It was just the big huddle, the team huddle that people had, that the teams had before. They just did it there. And I know there was another team, it was a few years ago, who did that too to the Patriots. And it's just I don't get it. It's one of those, it's like you're trying to intimidate them or some sort of.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I could even think. And even then, it wasn't my first suggestion because it sounds like a stretch. What are you trying to come in there and make it seem like this is their house, we're taking over their house type deal? Nah, this is the house that Brady and Belichick built. You're not taking over this house. You're probably not going to win this game. Evidently, they didn't win this fucking game. Most teams aren't going to win in Foxborough, especially at this time of the year when it is blisteringly cold outside. It was shitty Saturday. I know I got sick. It was shitty Sunday and snowing. I don't know what the whole purpose is here. If he's trying to boast his team up, he was basically rolling out there with a practice squad. So hell, I'd sacrifice a lamb at center field if I had to try and get my practice squad pumped up. I don't know what he can do to get them amped up against the hottest team in football right now. He's got to do something. So it was a failed attempt. I'll give him the A for effort if he was really trying there. Yeah. But it's just sauce. Sauce is the only word I have for it.
Yeah, it was weird. It was something that didn't get it got some shine just from, just like the beat reporters and everything on social media, but it never really amounted to anything. And I think it's because it's such a weird thing to do. Like you just don't have teams do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like no one, like you have your little huddle, sideline, locker room, whatever, you go and come out. Like, it's a weird message to try to send. And like, I get that you're trying to get your team pumped up, but
if that's even what they're going for, like we don't exactly, I don't know what his actual point was trying to do it, but
yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those weird things, it's like, and especially Vrabel being an old school player, like he knows it's kind of one of those things. Like you don't really, that's like when Cam Newton scored the touchdown last week and went to the Panthers logo. That was like when T.O. scored way back when, went to the middle.
Right. Cowboys, baby. Fuck him.
He did that, and they promptly hit him for it.
Yeah, Cody Sensabaugh. That guy sucked.
But, it's just something you don't do. You don't do the, like your little gathering on the logo, whatever. Turned out to not help him because, like I said, 36-13. Turned out to be a shit whipping, but Mac Jones, 23-32, 2 touchdowns, 310. I mean, this we probably should have put a pause on last week. This, Liam, I will view this as the virtuoso performance I was waiting to see. Yeah, I think so. I think, in saying that, with knowing that he missed a couple passes, he
left some throws on the board. You're right there.
Of course. And he still put up over 300 on a top 10 pass defense when the running game was doing nothing for him.
Yep. Hey, we've been waiting for that vaunted 300. I love that number. I'm glad we got there. But the way we got there, I don't think it's virtuoso. I'm not sold. Honestly, I think a lot of the magic here came after the catch, like some catch and run, mostly by Kendrick Bourne, who's playing out of his skull in Foxborough. I don't know what it is about that New England soil or that turf they got going in Foxborough, but man, he feels right at home there.
He loves it. I think Kendrick Bourne, 5 catches, 61 yards. He had that touchdown. Well, he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Deuce. Yeah, he had that nice catch and run. That was
money. He throws that juke on him and then just hits the sideline. Like, he's not fast at all. Like, I'm going to be the first to give it to him. He's not fast. He's not a burner.
He's quick, kind of juking guys out.
Yeah, he's got the fast twitch muscles, but he reminds me of, obviously he's not as big, not as strong, but Antoine Bolden, a wide receiver who's just going to run crisp routes, who's going to get open, but he's not going to burn you over the top most of the time. He's not going to kill you. Like, obviously he had the deep touchdown against the Cowboys, but he was basically wide open after smoking him there.
Yeah, no, he's that's Antoine Bolden, someone I always thought should have been on the Patriots just for kind of like his last couple of years.
Oh man,
I loved Antoine Bolden.
Yeah, I have a shrine in my room to Antoine Bolden. There are a few people I love more than that guy.
Oh, Antoine Bolden, another guy, Calvin Johnson. I always thought Megatron should have came here for a little bit. I think he might be my favorite receiver, other than Randy Moss. I loved Megatron.
I liked him a lot too, and I wanted to see him on another team. But I don't know. Something about me always said Calvin Johnson was kind of overrated. It's a little bit of a hot take here, a little bit wild. But I'm one of those people who think T.O. is the greatest receiver ever. So I think Calvin Johnson's a little overrated.
Sir, I think for as long as I've known you, I keep learning new things about you. That is crazy. Megatron is overrated.
I think he's overrated because
why? Just because of like the duration of his career?
No. Because I'll never say that. Barry Sanders is arguably the best running back of all time. If LaDainian Tomlinson was never conceived in the back of a minivan, then I think Barry Sanders would probably be the best running back of all time. Mm-hmm. But I don't take anything away from longevity and stuff like that. Honestly, good for him for retiring early. It's probably going to lead to a better quality of life.
Yeah, especially
But
how he played. Yeah.
I hear people like giving him best receiver ever off of that. And I
Whoa,
get
whoa,
it.
whoa. Yeah.
The potential is there. I still don't think he's top 3. I hate Jerry Rice. Unfortunately, I don't think he's better than Rice, Moss, or Owens.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I think if you're gonna say that, I mean, Calvin Johnson to me is my favorite receiver. He's arguably one of the most dominant receivers I've seen because when
Oh
he's
yeah.
on, you would have to put 2, 3 guys on him. But yeah, no, he's not better than Rice. He's not better than Owens. He's not better than Moss.
And
Definitely
that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah,
I
no,
think he's a solid 4 because I drafted him on my fantasy team 3 straight years.
Yep.
That year when he had like 300
On
receiving yards
Thanksgiving,
against
right?
the
Wasn't it on
Cowboys.
Thanksgiving? I think.
Was it?
I don't remember, but I know the game you're talking about.
It
I might be
probably
off
was
on. I
because
might be
Des
off. But
Bryant
yes.
pregame. Des Bryant was like, "I'm the best receiver in the league. I'm going to show him in this game."
Okay.
Des Bryant had 1 touchdown. Calvin 2 with 287 yards. I was just like, "My God!" And Calvin balled for me all year, so I love him, but I think people give him too much credit.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think yeah, if you're gonna put him up there, that's a little much. I think he's probably top 10.
Yeah.
If you
I'd give him top 5, probably.
Top 5, yeah.
Fringe
Yeah,
5.
Just the pure dominant. Like to me, he was dominant to the receiver position what Gronk was with the tight end position. It just when he was in his prime, you could not cover him. It did not matter who was on him, anything. But yeah, Megatron should have been a Patriot.
Could have been missed opportunities.
Matt Jones, speaking of missed opportunities, he had that little miss to Hunter Henry that would have been a touchdown, which actually kind of spiraled into a little typhoon of bullshit there because they missed that touchdown.
Yeah.
The Patriots are forced to kick a field goal. Then that's when the what's his name? The other no-name running back from the Titans.
Hilliard.
68-yarder. Yeah. So it was kind of one of those things where that
Dante Hilliard,
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, someone, I don't know. A guy I was playing in fantasy had him, and I was like, God damn, of course.
Who the hell picks up him in fantasy?
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, he ended up, running that in. So it was one of those things where it's like, shit, is this? It's like, are the stars aligned? We're like, this is just one of those games where it's just like the team hangs
upset city. You're kind of worried because this is a gimme from game time, from tip off. From the opening whistle, everyone knows the Patriots are going to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vegas odds had them at 93% of people bet the Patriots in this game.
Really?
Like, they were heavily favored. Like no one thought Tennessee was going to win. And so as the game's going, the first half, I'm nervous. It's almost neck and neck. I'm like, we're really this close with the practice squad Titans right now. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. If we're the best defense in the league and we're this stacked and we're on such a roll, how do we let up more than 250 yards to the Tennessee Titans? That's so many rushing yards. I'm just trying to figure that out. I'm like, please riddle me this because I can't figure out how the best defense in the league gives up that. And granted, we made up for it at the end of some of those big runs of theirs. They made the mistakes and we were able to capitalize on them. J.C. Jackson had a spectacular play where he forced the fumble on Deontay Foreman. But I'm just trying to figure out how do we even give up those yards in the first place?
Yeah, so I think I was searching for those answers too. And I saw, again, I'll always tell everybody to follow him, Matt Chatham, former Patriot.
Yep.
He does a really good job breaking down, kind of taking a common sense look at everything. He was like, yeah, you can be worried about that big performance. That's fine. That's, I think, the third time in the Belichick era that's ever happened. A team has ever had that many rushing yards or like 200 plus or 200,
which is why it stood out to me. I'm like, we're getting screwed.
Yeah. And it was kind of, again, I'm not going to take away the 68-yard run. That counts. That was a defensive breakdown. So yeah, 250 plus. I think it comes down to when you put in what the passing game did. They also held Tannehill to 92 yards passing.
93, so, but yeah, 93, basically the same thing. Okay. Yeah,
I was selling them short. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, nope,
Mr. Tannehill.
100%.
Yeah,
you know how much I love Ryan Tannehill.
I think it might be one of those things where, again, you have to fix. You have to make sure that doesn't happen again. But it seems like the game plan was to make sure that the Titans weren't going to move the ball through the air. It was one of those like, you know what? If you're going to run the ball on us, that's fine. Obviously not that many yards, but we don't think you can beat us running the ball, which ended up being the case.
Yep.
Which I think that's how Belichick looks at it. Again, I think they went into the game with a few like the box where they were showing it too, like the box that the Tennessee was running into. It was, even if the Patriots had 7 or 8 guys in there, it was spread out more. So I think it was one of those things where they kind of just want to contain everything. Again, you don't want to give up 260, 270 yards.
Like they had multiple breakaway 20+ yard runs.
Exactly.
Like, what
exactly.
are you doing?
But I think it's tough to be too worried about it. It's one of those things where you're like, well, I hope this doesn't continue. But then when you kind of look at it, I feel like Belichick was kind of saying, you know what, if you're going to run on us, it's fine. Because at the end of the day, I think I forget who said it. I think it was Godshot. One of them said it. They were like, yards don't lose you games, points lose you games. True. So I think that was kind of the fact that he said it. I think that was the mentality going into the game, where it was like, hey guys, this is the defense we're going to run. It's going to be a little lighter up front. We're going to make sure they don't pass on us. Don't get any big chunk plays through the passing game. They got some through the running game. But it was just one of those things where it was like, hey, just gonna make sure they don't beat us through the air, especially kind of towards the end of the third quarter when they were running it all that time. If I'm Belichick, I'm like, dude, keep running.
Yeah. That's fine. And you were texting me about that, and I was like, yep, I'm all for it. Yeah. And that makes sense. When you break it down as a game plan like that, where they're like, hey, what was the score at the end of the first half? 19-13?
I'll tell you right now, the score at the end of the first half was 16-13.
16-13
because they scored that last minute. Yeah. They scored that.
Yeah, because I knew it was close.
Nick Folk missed the 53 yarder. That's what it was to end it.
So then we end up breaking away in the third, and obviously we start rattling off touchdowns. We get a decent lead, double-digit lead by then. And if you're just going to let up the run, I get it. Then it burns clock. You likely can't get back into a game running the ball unless you have Derrick Henry. Even then, they mostly phase him out of the game plan, and then they have to throw. Yep. That's just the modern league. That's what makes sense. They used to do it basically all throughout football history. So I get that. But that JC Jackson, when he comes up behind him and forces the fumble, yes, exceptional play, incredible play, heads up play. But if that doesn't happen, and that's just like a small thing, if that doesn't happen, it's a completely different game. Hell, if they go into halftime with the lead, or if they have the lead at any point, they can just keep running the rock on us. And hell, Belichick would probably switch the defense, stop the run. I get it, and force Ryan Tannehill to pass at that point, because neither one of us think he's a prolific passer.
God, no.
But I just think it's like a small play. Like, you're relying on JC Jackson to make that play. And he did, and it was fantastic. But I think it's a shady move there.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, hey guys, like, let's not, let him beat you through the air. But then it's like, wait, but guys, we still have to make sure they don't run the ball all
we have to do so. And we have fantastic linebackers. So I'm like, where's Juwan Bentley at? Like, your job is to level these dudes. Bury Deontay Foreman 6 feet under, give him a quick Irish funeral, and get onto this punk ass Hilliard.
Yes. So I think it's one of those just cases where I feel like it happened. I think it happened earlier in the year too. Like McCourty had a really bad game. Like, you have these players that had these bad games and stuff. And it's like, okay, listen, if this is just a one-off thing, that's fine. Yep. Pat's defense has been great as a whole.
And they haven't shown me anything different or any reason to think otherwise.
They game plan week to week. So it's like, people are saying, oh, if Derrick Henry was in the game, the Titans would have ran for this. I'm like, no, they wouldn't have, because the game, it would have been a completely different game.
Yeah.
Like they would have, everything would have been different. Yeah. Everything would have been different.
Then they would have been like, Ryan Tannehill, I don't care if you go for 500 yards and beat us. We're not letting Derrick Henry get a touchdown.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is not going to beat us, but so it's definitely something to look to, especially next week, against the Bills. You don't want them running all over you, because they're a competent team. They can actually run all over you and score.
Do they have a strong run game though?
No, but Josh Allen does scramble a little bit, which we'll get into it towards the end after we kind of do all this.
It's a big game.
I want Josh Allen to get ramrodded.
Oh my God.
I want him to get railroaded, put under the ground, under the prison. I want him to get demolished.
That's exactly my thoughts. I want Dante Hightower to decapitate him, grab his guts, and then do the LeBron chalk celebration with his
throw it up
innards.
like that. Throw it up. But we're getting graphic here, guys.
This is going to be rated R just for that.
But the So when were the runs coming, especially towards the end, when you're up by 10 points, you're going to kind of play off a little bit. So who knows? It's one of those things, I think, where it's shitty that it happened. It better not happen again. But as of right now, it's like, you know what? The game plan was this.
Yeah,
The
I think it
Titans
was
took
part of the game
advantage
plan.
of it.
I do.
Titans definitely took advantage of it because Vrabel is a smart coach. So, he was like, hey, they're going to let us run. We're going to keep running on you. But the Patriots continued. They have outscored their opponent 63-0 in the second half in the last 4 games, which what that means is that this team, they're closing games. After the half, no matter what the score is, games. They're like, okay, what we're going to do? They're doing what the Chiefs were doing in their heyday a couple of years ago, where they were, they'd play a competitive game to start, then after halftime, they'd kind of put up a quick 14, 17 points, and then it's done.
That's been the case forever, though. The Patriots are always a second half team. Consistently, the first half, and we always say it, the first drive is about adjustments. We'll give up a touchdown the first drive most of the time because we want to know what they're doing. But in the second half, whatever Bill's doing in that locker room, he must have full slideshows, 19 slides deep. This is what they're doing. This is how we're going to stop it, because they come out every time and they know the play before the other team calls it.
He must do something. He is one of the best in-game play adjusters that I think the game has seen.
Easily.
It's just there's nothing that happens where he's not like, okay, guys, this is what we're gonna do to fix it. We're gonna do X, Y, and Z, blah blah blah, figure it out, and we're good to go. But
this is against Mike Vrabel too, who knows what Bill wants to do.
Yep,
played under him, knows how Bill runs his defense, and obviously, I'm sure the defense has changed since 2005. I'm sure it's changed a little bit.
Yeah,
but it's still the basic format. He still knows what Bill wants to do in most cases. And Vrabel's been yelled at many times in the locker room, telling him what to do. I'm sure he knows, he has a hint, and he's still you can't stop it. No one can stop it. It's unbelievable.
No. And even when, speaking of Vrabel's defense, Patriots weren't great rushing the ball on Sunday. They weren't great at all, but still, I think all the work they've put in, Mac Jones was 11 of 12 with a $169 off the play action.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where the work that they've put in, the Patriots, the last 6-7 weeks, teams, even if they're not successful running the ball, teams are still going to be looking for that. So it's given you more room, which I think we saw that when Mac Jones was throwing a player. I mean, the Kendrick Bourne touchdown, the one where he did his little, run that we were just talking about.
Yep.
Kendrick Bourne's wide open. He was throwing a Hunter Henry, Jacoby Myers, wide open.
Jacoby Myers.
I think he's becoming like Edelman, where it's just,
Did you see Edelman's quote?
I did. That's actually exactly why I said it. I was like, this makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I see it. He's kind of that guy where it's like, if something's happening, you're going to throw it to him. He's going to catch it. He's going to take the hit. He did have the ball knocked out of him. I think it was the second or third quarter or something.
Yeah.
But you're not going to catch everyone, but yeah, he's that guy who's going to go in there and make the tough catch, take the hit, fall forward for the first down, and you'll be able to rely on him. Jacoby Myers is a very welcome surprise this season. Surprise guy. I knew he was going to be good, but he's just consistently one of the best options on the Patriots right now, other than Hunter Henry. Because I think Hunter Henry is just he's the guy right now.
Yeah, and I want to get to Johnny Smith later because he finally had a big role in this game, and I love to see that.
Big game, yep.
But with Josh McDaniels' offenses consistently, he clearly loves the slot receivers. He needs a reliable slot receiver. And any team, any Patriots team that has been led by Josh McDaniels on the offensive end, there's always that guy. And when we had like Kembrell Tompkins, Aaron Dobson, we signed Austin Collie for like a game, and he was that guy for us. We had Edelman, we had Amendola. We're just plugging and playing these shifty slot receivers to just go in, run the option routes, run the 3 yards, and then eventually, once we kill them with the short passes, we'll get them, in the intermediate and midfield game. But it's so funny to just see the consistencies throughout the year. And now Jacoby Myers is that guy. He's in there with, like I said, all those other guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in it. He's doing this thing. Now we just got to get him some touchdowns.
He's
racking up the.
You and me talked about it. We expected a big second half of the year from him. We're expecting a lot of touchdowns. I don't think this is the game. I'm not giving up on our predictions yet, though. I'm not giving up. I think he's got it.
Yeah. I mean, he's too involved in the offense not to get a few touchdowns here towards the end. I mean, granted, you could have said that for the whole beginning of his career, but things were kind of rocky. Brady's last year, the weird 2020 year, like there was a lot going on. But yeah, Jacoby Myers, great. Hunter Henry, I think, other than Matt Judon, Hunter Henry might be, I could probably make a case for him being the second best addition this offseason.
I mean, it makes sense to me. He's a touchdown machine.
He's done everything. He's open to, he almost had a touchdown. But like we said, with that open pass, then there was one where Matt kind of led him the wrong way. He was running an out route, I think, or something like that. Kind of, coverage was good and all that, but still he's a huge threat in the red zone. And not just that, just every time it seems like, Matt cocks back and throws it, 20, 25 yards, it's always to Hunter Henry. And he's always running open for some reason. Which I don't get.
It's so weird though. Like his stats are always like 2 to 4 catches for like at most 50, 60 yards, but then he'll rip off 2 touchdowns in a game. In this game, obviously he didn't get that touchdown. He finished with 2 for 16, which is unspectacular. No. But if you look at his impact is much larger than that. I almost wish he had a bigger volume just to see if we could really unleash him in an offense. But hell, I can't complain when he's putting up, big touchdown numbers.
Yeah, I mean he's killing it. I think that's the thing with this offense. It's where it's and we brought it up a few times here where it's like why isn't Aguilar getting more catches, more of this? Why isn't Bourne? I mean we said it to the start of the season. Where's Bourne been? When's Smith going to come into play? When's Henry? I think this offense, they all work together so well that sometimes the reason you'll have Jacoby Myers open for 25, 30 yard catches because you have Hunter Henry taking the top off, or you have Aguilar running a deep route or something that takes the safety with them. So I think it's such a complementary offense where any game you could have some guy go off for 50, 60, 70 yards, but then you could have someone like Hunter Henry have 2 catches for, what'd you say, 16 yards, something like that, 2 catches for 16, and then he just it helps the offense because they're either big catches or he's still taking coverage so other players can get catches. I don't know. This offense, this team in itself is such a they play complementary football better than anybody in the league. Anybody. When it's defense, special teams, offense, they all pick up the slack for each other when, one phase of the game is floundering or whatever. Kind of like we saw here.
They're an extremely unpredictable offense because you really don't know who's going to score each week. Like if you had told me Kendrick Bourne would have 2 touchdowns in this game, I wouldn't be stunned, but I'd certainly be like, oh, really? Like Kendrick Bourne? And last week, Nelson Aguilar gets the only receiving touchdown. Like it's always just kind of like they spread the ball. The week before then, Hunter Henry 2 receiving tubs. They're always kind of spreading the ball out. And from a better perspective, because I'm always trying to bet who on the Patriots is going to score because the odds are so big. Yeah, exactly. And it's damn near unpredictable. Like against the Falcons, I think I bet on Jacoby Myers to score and Kendrick Bourne to score. And of course, it was Nelson Aguilar. This week, I bet on Nelson Aguilar. It was Kendrick Bourne. So it's like you can, and that's just me. Obviously, I'm not looking at the film like the other coaches that are playing the Patriots, but I'm sure they're just as frustrated being like, all right, who's going to kill us in this game? Who's going to be implemented into the game plan to be their main focus? And this week it was Kendrick Bourne, and he crushed it.
Yeah. Who knows? Next week it could be Jonnu Smith, which it could, and I know you want to touch on him. I think now is a better time as any. Jonnu Smith, I don't care how many times he touches the ball. Every time Jonnu Smith touches the ball, I think he's going to bust out a 15-yard run or a 20-yard catch or something like that. The dude is electric when he has the ball.
He is. Electric. He's a weird player. Such a weird player because one rush, 9 yards. I really think he could tote the rock. He's basically a fullback that they line up at tight end, but incredible hands, can make move in space, finished with 3 receptions, 49 yards, basically 50 yards. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, and again, it's not, none of the numbers are going to blow you away. I mean, even Jacoby Myers had 5 for 98, but that's the most wow number of the day for any of the receivers there. But Jonnu Smith, it's just, I wish they kept it. And I know, I'm nitpicking just because, I know how the game ended. I know how the game went. I just wish that they could have kept going with Smith because it looked like on that first drive, things were working. They had the sweep with them. They had they were throwing it to him, all that stuff. He reminds me of, and I hate to bring up his name, but he reminds me of Aaron Hernandez in the sense where they had Hernandez talking, I was actually, again, I was talking with my father-in-law about this, where I think right now the Pats have the same type of setup they wanted with Gronk and Hernandez. They have Hunter Henry, who is your, bigger guy. He's going to box people out. He's good at blocking. He's still going to make your big catches, all that stuff. Then you have Jonnu Smith, where you can move him around the formation. You can set him up. You can have him in motion. You can have him in the backfield, which I'm sure they're going to start doing that more as the season goes on. You can throw screens to him and he can bust some guys open. I mean, there's so much you can do with him, which is what makes me, it makes me salivate for what they're going to do with them as the season goes on.
And I think I'm waiting for that big game from him. And at this point, I'm just starting to think that it's going to come in the playoffs. Like, he's going to have a 2-touchdown game. He's going to have a big impact when it really matters, because he's so reliable. And like you said, you can put him anywhere. Line him up in the backfield, give him a handoff, line him up in the backfield, send him out on a wheel route or anything like that. The possibilities are endless. And just the fact that we have him, even if we're not using him right now, it's an extreme luxury.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird. Like, the offense is clicking. The offense, I think is the number one offense during the 6-game win streak they're doing right now.
Unbelievable.
And they're not even using arguably their most versatile player on offense.
Yep.
Which
scary.
I shouldn't say not using. They're not spotlighting him, because they are using him. He's out there. He's still running routes. And I saw it last week. It got kind of annoying. I saw people saying, hey, what's going on with Aguilar and Jonnu Smith's contract? Like, can we cut them at the end of the year? Can we trade them? Can we do this? And I see so many Patriots beat writers like, why are you talking about this? Just because he's not putting up fantasy points for you? Like, the things that they're doing that we don't see is what brings even more value to the offense. And the Patriots, every single person, tight end, receiver, is immaculate at blocking, which is, you can't put a price on that.
No,
because how many times?
And no one cares either. No one pays attention to block.
No one. The only time people did was when Harry was blocking Myles Garrett, which rightly so. That was
cool.
But how many times do you see teams? It's a toss or something like that, and you see the corner just blow the receiver up, make the tackle for 3 yards behind the line. It doesn't happen that much on this team, because you got Aguilar out there blocking, you got Hunter Henry, you got Jonnu Smith, you got N'Keal Harry. You
got Brandon Bolden, who caught 4 for 54 in this game.
I didn't even know. I was looking at that too, because I just pulled up that stat too. Where the hell did that come from?
I'll be completely honest. I watched the game from start to finish. I maybe missed the first couple of plays because I basically slept right up until game time. But I can't recall a single play that Brandon Bolden made. Now I'm looking at the box score. I'm like, son of a bitch. He caught the 3rd most yards on the team.
Like, what? I cannot. If you gun to my head, I can't pick out any of his. And that's not even an indictment on him. Like, that's not what I'm saying. It's just
because he put in the yards. Good for him.
Everybody on this team just kind of does their thing. And at the end of the day, they're all going to have 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. And most likely it's going to come out of a win.
Yeah. And like you said about those Patriots beat writers, it's egregious to even want to change anything right now. And I get it. No one's putting up, like we were talking about, no one's putting up Calvin Johnson numbers. No one's putting up T.O. or Randy Moss numbers on this team where one person is clearly better than all the rest. But they all in this game kind of hovered between like the 50-60 mark, except for Jacoby Myers, who was pushing 100. Everyone was kind of around the same yards. Everyone's doing the same thing. And it's just a very balanced offense. Scary attack game.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy because everybody says, Mac Jones, Mr. Dink and Dunk, all that stuff, which is fine. Like,
you've heard that
before. At the end of the day, like, yeah, exactly. But when was the last time? I think this guy, Tom Brady, was notoriously a dink and dunker. But that only matters to people who aren't like Patriots fans. It seems like it's always those people. It's like the Nick Wrights of the world. It's the Skip Bayless. Like, oh Nick Wright. But did he, and his stupid hair. And it's like, did he like, oh yeah, he did this, but did he, how many passes, went over 10 yards? It's like, okay, great. Not that many passes went over 10 to 15 yards. He threw for 310 though, in 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. And then you bring up the play action numbers. Like, we're efficient.
Yeah.
That's what more can you ask for? That's
it. That's all you need right now. He's a rookie. People again forget this. Even Tom Brady in his first year, he was not a rookie. He was a 2nd-year quarterback who had a full year of the Patriots offense under his belt. And Mac Jones right now is acting like he's been on this team for 4 years.
He's putting up like top 5 quarterback efficiency numbers this season. So that's why no one cares if he's a rookie. People are just talking about him like he's like you said, a 4-year vet. They're like, why isn't he doing better? Why isn't he doing better? It's like, Jesus Christ, deep breath. Give it next year. I can't even imagine what he's going to be doing.
Oh my God. And I think I tweeted this out, I think yesterday, today, whatever. And I was just thinking, the fact that we say, like, for that Hunter Henry touchdown, where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe Mac Jones missed that. The fact that we're surprised and kind of upset that he missed those throws, that to me shows you where he's at. He like, no one's giving him that leeway because he's played so damn well that he doesn't deserve that leeway, if we're being honest, because he's played to the point where it's like, yeah, dude, you should be making those plays, you know, again, and we're not going to crucify you for it. We're not going to, you know, rake you over the coals or anything, but like, that's a good thing when people are upset that you're missing these relatively easy throws. It's insane. And you brought up that people forget he's a rookie. I hope at the end of the year, people remember he's a rookie, because I think he is building a very, very good case to be the rookie of the year.
Oh, I honestly don't think it's a close anymore. The only one who's close is like Jamar Chase, who has a lot of touchdowns. But let's be honest, wide receivers, quarterbacks, and it's the Bengals, but they're playing well, so I can't even take that away from them. But it's like wide receiver, quarterback. Like, which one's more valuable? Which one do you need? Which one gets the ball to the other one is my point. It's like the quarterbacks have got the nod in almost anything. MVPs, you know, rookie of the year, any accolade, it usually always goes to the quarterback. Who wins the Heisman Trophy in college? About 9 times out of 10, it's a quarterback. That's the most important position. So for anyone to get it other than him, I'd be surprised at this point. I think it's runaway. Right now, he's high step into the end zone, wide open green grass, stiff arming Jamar Chase and all the others. No one else is really close. He's just stiff arming Jamar Chase on the way to the end zone, and the end zone's, you know, he's proverbially the rookie of the year.
Yeah, he's killing. He's got, I think, just over 2,800 passing yards. So I think he's got 16 touchdowns to 18 interceptions, which, you know, a lot of those picks came early on
How many interceptions?
8.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 18. I was like,
no,
hold on.
God, no. I think he's at like a 97 passer rating, which is great. He's doing everything you need to do. And I think what's going to put him ahead of Jamar Chase is the Bengals are gonna stumble at some point, you know, and maybe not for the whole season, because like you said, they are a good team this year, but you know, they're gonna face good defenses. Jamar Chase isn't gonna get these great numbers. You know, Burrow might get, you know, but what happens if he gets nicked up? What happens if Joe Burrow gets COVID? He's out for 3 games, or he's out for a game or 2. Jamar Chase's numbers are gonna drop. I think that Mac Jones' trajectory is more likely to stay that way
meteoric.
than Jamar Chase. Yeah, he's just, I think if he can get rookie of the year, and then actually, you know, since we're talking about that, coach of the year, I think Belichick's got the runaway for that too. If we're being honest, like, maybe not as much as Mac Jones, but if not, he's right there. I saw people saying Matt LaFleur. Okay, yeah, Matt LaFleur, but Matt LaFleur has Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. Yeah. Like, come on. Like, what? Cliff Kingsbury? No. Sean McVay? No, because your team is kind of a little shitty right now. It's Bill Belichick. You give any other coach whose name isn't Bill Belichick, you give them a rookie quarterback, a young running back group, 3 or 4 different options on offense that just came over, that are learning the playbook, a bunch of different things on the defense. If you give any other coach that, and they're 8-4 coming off of a 7-9 season, they're getting coach of the year. Yeah. Just the fact that it's Belichick, people are like, oh, well, it's Belichick. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The guy should still get his flowers when he's kicking ass like this.
And people don't want to give praise to the Sith Lord. Like, he's the big bad guy. Everyone hates Belichick. Everyone hates the Patriots. It's the thing. Like, no one wants to give him his props. But like you said, the only person I thought that was really close was LaFleur and McVay. Obviously, the Rams have kind of fallen off in the last couple of weeks. And then I think LaFleur's, you know, the door was slammed on his case when Aaron Rodgers was out and he couldn't beat the Chiefs with the backup. I get it. It was a backup, but they were so close. Like, Yeah, but they were right there. It was still
Mhm.
like a 2-score game basically at the end of it. They were right there. I think it was like
Mhm.
19-13, some weird score like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it was very
And that
close.
just shows if they had Aaron Rodgers, they probably would have blown the doors off the Chiefs.
Mhm.
And he couldn't take advantage. He needed Aaron Rodgers in that circumstance. As weird as it sounds, if you dismantled this team and like gave us a random group of like scab players, like have you ever seen the Replacements?
Mhm. Yep.
If
Yep.
you gave Bill Belichick a team like that, at this point they're making the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
with a bunch of squids, if he gets guys from the grocery store who catches thieves, he could
Yeah.
put that dude at wide receiver and he'll catch 1,000 yards.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. He should be coach of the year. Mac Jones should be rookie of the year. And I asked the question. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to do the research. I don't know how people check it. I don't have enough time in the day to figure it out. When was the last time that your rookie of the year and your coach of the year went to the Super Bowl? I don't think it's happened
Rookie
because
of the year quarterback?
yeah, or
A,
or
a
just
rookie
or just in
quarterback has
general.
never been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. In general, because I remember they've been that's the new thing is that there hasn't been not new thing, but that's what everybody keeps saying. There's never been a rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl. So just rookie of the year in general. I don't think there's ever been rookie of the year and coach of the year to go to the Super Bowl.
No, I can't imagine so.
Can't be. Yeah, can't be. So, that's I mean, I'm not saying I'm just, I'm asking for a friend. I'm not saying
Phone a
that's
friend
gonna
here.
happen. But I think the odds right now, I think what the Patriots and Bucks Super Bowl, that's the highest odds, right? I think by Vegas or something.
I mean,
Which
the Buccaneers are favored to go to the Super Bowl, but everyone wants the Patriots and Bucks in the Super Bowl.
that
Everyone.
would be and by the way, if that happens, the Patriots are winning. Let's not act like they're not.
Yeah, no, it's not close.
Yeah, no, because I mean, if you're gonna base it on how the only thing we have to look at is the Bucks and Pats game earlier in the year. If you're gonna base it on that, you gotta think that the Bucks aren't the Bucks room for improvement. They don't have as much room for improvement as the Patriots have since then. Patriots
No.
have gotten much better. Bucks have kind of plateaued. I think if that's the Super Bowl, it's not going to be as close as everybody thinks. And that's not to say the Bucks are bad. The Bucks are a really good team. It's just Belichick is that much better at coaching.
I mean, you still got to be worried about Tom Brady, obviously,
Of course.
that douchebag in his palatial estate down in Tampa Bay. But I still think, even not even looking at the game earlier this season, the Bucks are a beaten down team. Their defense, their players are constantly hurt. Their defense is a shell of what it used to be when everyone was so hyped about them.
Yep.
Honestly, their defense wasn't that great last year until the playoffs, and then they stepped up. So maybe that happens, and all of a sudden they look like a fantastic team again, and then I'll have a different opinion. But as of right now, they're a bad defense. They almost lost to the Colts, and hey, I've been saying it. I'll walk it to him. I think he's a stud. I think he could have beat them.
Hey,
But
I can't even really criticize that anymore because
he's
the
the
Colts have been
man.
playing really well. So.
He's the man. And
I mean,
don't even get me started on Jonathan Taylor, but I think Carson Wentz is helping out Jonathan Taylor more than people think. But the last 2 weeks before this, when the Bucks dropped back-to-back games, losing to the Skins and then losing to the Saints, I believe it was, because they always lose to the Saints in the regular season. But there's just clear problems with this team. And again, just like the first Patriots Bucks game, I have utmost faith in Bill Belichick to shut down his former quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's kind of pie in the sky. I think that's what everybody wants because I do think that would be probably the highest rated Super Bowl. I would think.
Oh, I can imagine.
I mean,
it'd be the most hated because, like, who are those middle of America fans supposed to root for when they hate Tom Brady and hate the Patriots?
Exactly. It's what, but I think with Tom Brady, and it was a good comparison I heard, or metaphor. I don't know. I think comparison, whatever the word is.
Words.
Yeah, words are tough. It was Tom Brady is kind of like Darth Vader, where everybody hates Darth Vader, but you can kind of not sympathize with him, but there's a little bit more humanity, a little bit more, something to latch onto there. Bill Belichick is Emperor Palpatine. There is no redeeming qualities.
Nothing.
You hate him. If you're a part of the whole, if you're a Sith, you love him. If you're a Patriots fan, you love Bill Belichick. If you're not, if you're the Jedis, anybody else, you hate Emperor Palpatine, and everybody hates Bill Belichick. If you're not a Patriots
it's so easy. I mean, he sits there and hoodie with it pulled down like he's a character in Assassin's Creed, giving one-word answers to all these poor reporters trying to ask him questions. This poor dude's trying to make a living asking Bill Belichick a basic question. He's up there like, no.
He's up there like, I don't get it. I don't get the question.
We're on to Buffalo. And the dude's like, man, I'm just trying to make a living here. Help me out. And everyone else looks at that and they're like, this guy's an asshole. Like, we can't relate to this guy at all. He's not like Sean McVay, who's run into the tunnel to celebrate with his guys. Bill's like, is that a touchdown? Cool. Good play, Josh. It's just kind of like, it's another notch on the belt. Oh, I got another touchdown. That's touchdown, 4,000 for me.
Yeah, like come on. But it's one of those things. They had the Belichick still does. He's been letting his hair down a lot recently. There was the Patriots today posted the locker room video, the quick like minute and a half video they do after the team wins. And Kendrick Bourne came up to Belichick at the beginning of the video. And Belichick was like, oh, you threw the stiff arm. And then Bourne was like, yeah, man, just like you taught me. Like, yeah, yo, Bill, come on, give me one. Or your coach. He didn't say Bill. Coach, give me a stiff arm. So Belichick like pushed him away or whatever. Then at the end of the video, he's giving out the game ball. He's like, where's KB? Kendrick Bourne comes up and what does Belichick do? He throws the stiff arm right at him. So it's when everybody laughed, and it's like, this is the shit. This is the shit that we don't see, or like we do see some of it, but we don't see all of it. So when it's like, there's no fun, there's none of that. It's like, you guys don't see this stuff that we see. Matt Judon had a quote. He said, I think it was right after the game, I believe, or this morning, but I think it was after the game. He said, as far as the fun that I'm having, I couldn't imagine a better year with any better teammates. They're great. Right now, I'm just producing and my teammates and coaches hype me up. It is easier to be around people like that, and it is all love here. Again,
brings a damn tear to my eye.
People think it's the Death Star. It's not. Well, it is, but the inside is not.
Yeah, it's the Death Star for everyone who comes in.
Exactly. It's a Death Star with a hard exterior, but a nice fun interior, as long as you do your job, as long as you put the work in. Like, I think everybody said it who's on the Patriots. So like, it's not like, yeah, it's hard work, but like, you see it pay off. If you buy in, you see it. And that's the fun part. I think McCourty or Slater said it before the season. They were like, yeah, winning is fun. Like, yeah, it's hard work, but winning is. Brandon Cook said it last year when he was doing the around the Super Bowl. He was saying, anybody who says that it's not fun in New England must not like hard work. Then that's all it is.
Yeah, and you'll get those players that are, kind of fair weather, like they're just in it for a paycheck. Maybe football isn't their whole life, and that's fine. There are plenty of professional athletes who play sports and do well at their sports, but that's not their whole thing. They don't go home and watch football in their free time. They don't immerse themselves in the game. But then you hear from old Patriots like Teddy Bruschi, Randy Moss, like the guys who had success on the team, probably for a reason. And they talk about how much fun it was. Matt Light, who talked about how he used to catch punts, and Belichick said if he could catch the punt, then they'd let out of practice early, and he ended up catching it, and everyone celebrates they got out of practice early. Yeah. That's not the Sith Lord that I'm always hearing about, this hoodied asshole that just hates fun and doesn't like anyone and wants everyone to do their slave labor, terrible work, and then get the hell out and then come on game time and win. He's a personality. He builds bonds with these people. It's just the guys that don't want to work, that don't like it.
Yeah. And I think what's the famous thing where Randy Moss finally got him to go to the Halloween party?
Yes.
And I think someone, I forget, it was the last week or the week before. I forget what ex-Patriots player or coach they were talking to, and they were like, was that crazy for Bill to do that? And they were like, no. Other than that, no one ever asked Bill to go.
Yeah, so and that's the problem. I'm sure he's so intimidating, so not approachable.
Edelman even says he is. Remember, Edelman was talking afterwards when you saw him at like Julian Edelman night in Foxborough. He was like, it was kind of like seeing your principal or something like that. Yeah. He's intimidating, but that's just who he is. The dude still has fun. Like, I think it was the video going around to start the season where he was almost chastising his team for not celebrating a sack. He was like, what are you doing? Because not only does the celebrating get the crowd going, it intimidates the other team because they see you all getting pumped up. It's like, come on, you got to celebrate. You have to have fun.
He's like, I don't torture you with endless reps and unlimited sprints for on Sunday, you to just make a play, do your job, and then go, yep, that was cool, back in line. Like, no, you earned that. I made you work for this. Now celebrate it.
Yes. Yes, that's what you need to do. And I think he's probably getting used to seeing Matt Judon celebrate because our boy Judon had another sack.
Of course. And what's he at now?
11 and a half, right? Because if he was
11
at
and
10
a
and a
half
half last week, he's
last
at
week.
11 and a half
So
now.
11
Yeah.
and a half. I'm liking my prediction right now. 16 seems very doable right
I'm
now.
telling you. So he got one there. I bet he gets one against the Bills.
Yep.
I'm sure he gets one against the Colts. Again, just because Carson Wentz, he does hold on to the ball too long. Their line.
Yep. He'll always try
know
and
what's
make the
going to
big
happen.
play.
Then they played the Bills again. Maybe you get another one there. Maybe you don't. Whatever. At that point, you still got three. And then you're playing Miami and the Jags too. That's
I think he gets 2 against the Jags.
I think he gets 2 per game.
I'm holding on to 2 against the Jags.
I think he'll get 2. He'll get 2 against them. I think that's
Poor
going to be
Trevor
one
Lawrence.
of those. That's going to be one of those. That's going to be an ugly game. Ugly game. A rookie going against a defense, not only just a Bill Belichick defense, but a Bill Belichick defense playing this well.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be an ugly game.
I'm sure Judon has a doll with long blonde hair that he just stabs with needles in his room. He's like,
every night.
I'm week 16. I'm coming to get you.
Every night. I'm sure every night he sits there and pokes needles in every one of his little voodoo dolls for every quarterback he's playing. He's like, I'm getting you next week, getting you the week after, you the week after. I bet that's what he's doing.
He's a hunter.
You know what? Isn't it fucking awesome that we get to talk about the Patriots like this again?
It is. It's just, there's a certain pride to it. It's
I just thought about that. Like,
I just feel it in my guts.
Isn't it just second place in the AFC, first in the AFC East? Like, it just, I literally just thinking about this now. The excitement that I get talking about them, or even getting ready to watch a game on Sunday, or next week it's going to be Monday. It's like, it's awesome. It was something that I missed last year because last year was just a weird year, just in general, with like the no fans and like the first year without Brady. It was weird. You know, everybody liked Cam Newton, but it was one of the things where it's like the team, like, you know, they're not really going anywhere. It was weird. This year, though, it's like, no, fuck that. I'm going to puff my chest out and be like, listen, hey, the Patriots, if they're not the best team in the AFC, they're a top team in the NFL. Not only are they the best team in the AFC, because I know people are saying the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are a good team. They still have Mahomes, but the Chiefs are not a better team than the Patriots. They're not well-rounded enough. People are talking about the defense, and like, the defense is starting to, they've had a few good games in a row, but it's not, it's nothing that looks unbeatable. The offense still doesn't look as good as they have in years. I'm talking about the Chiefs.
I'm not seeing 7 touchdowns a week anymore.
No. A lot of their touchdowns are coming from, like when they were playing the Cowboys were falling all over the place, blown coverages, things like that. So the Patriots, best team in the AFC. And I got to say top 3 in the NFL. If we're looking at it.
And to your point, like we talked about this when we first started the show in the first couple episodes, you're like most other Pats fans where you're like, every season we start, we're a contender. Until proven otherwise, I think we're winning it all. There's no reason for me to think otherwise. Just full ignorance and caution to the whim. We are winning it all. And a lot of times, a lot of fan bases have this opinion, and then they get crushed about halfway through the season, toward the end of the season. And it very well could happen this season.
With the Browns right now.
Exactly. Those poor bastards. And us, I feel like the Paul Rudd meme right now, where it's like, look at us. Look at us.
Look at us.
Who would have thought? Us? It's just like, because we're like, we talked about it, we thought this would happen, and now it's all coming to fruition. And goddamn, if we're not one of the best teams in the league right now, it's like, look at us. How did we get here? It's like, you.
I mean, it's everything. And I was watching the game. I was thinking this watching the game. I think I texted you. I think I said it to you. But I was like, this is just one of those. It's one of those teams where, okay, so if the offense kind of starts to stumble a little bit, the defense, you just kind of know the defense is going to make a play or keep the offense in until the offense finally gets back on track, or vice versa. Or, the special teams is going to come up with a kick, and they down it like at the 5, or, within the 5, or Nick Folks can be like, okay, guys, you know what? You can't score. That's fine. I'll kick 6 or 7 field goals today and we'll still win. It's no matter what's going on, the offense helps the defense helps special teams, whatever. The team is a complete team. There's no other team in the NFL that's like this. I would say.
There's not. And I've been saying that all week. We're the most complete team in the league.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not even close. And to have the most complete team in the league coached by the greatest coach of all time, that's scary. That should be scary.
Yep.
Could be very scary to people. And the fact, and again, I keep saying it, the fact that the NFL let the Patriots get Mac Jones, you done fucked up.
You fucked up so bad.
Yeah, so bad.
You had 13 picks.
So
Anyone,
bad.
I don't even care if you have a quarterback on your roster, just draft him, not to give him to us.
Take him. I think it was Ryan Clark. I heard him say it, or maybe it was someone else. Maybe it was Dan Orlovsky. Someone was saying, they were like, the NFL had a year. Or no, it was someone on Good Morning Football or some shit. They were like, you had a year. The Patriots gave you a year. They said, if you want to have us, now is the time. What happened? You let them get Mac Jones.
And even in that year, we were just below 500. We were just below 500 in that year, so it wasn't even a bad year.
No.
And then we're right back.
Right back. He spent, it was one of those things. They were like, dude, you let him buy anybody he wanted. You let him revamp the entire team in 1 year. How did you let this happen?
31 other teams didn't sign the top 2 tight ends.
Oh,
the top two. The top 2. It's obscene.
That's
really embarrassing.
Do you think it was one of those things where Belichick signed Smith and then like he kind of like on a whim, he kind of like reached out to Henry like, hey, I did want to let you know, we did sign Smith, kind of want a last word, what are you thinking of the contract? Hunter Henry was like, well, actually, coach, I was going to say, I kind of want to come there. I'm sure Bill was like, well, hold on a second. Let me get,
well, I got an offer from Jacksonville. So
Robert, can we sign? Okay. Yeah. We'll take you two. Yeah.
We can make this work. How do you like touchdowns? He's like, I like them a lot. Perfect.
Yeah. It's like, they're good. I mean, like if I could have some, that's great. I really just want to win. Damn it. You said the right thing. See you Sunday.
Bill's like, God damn it, I love you. Hangs up.
Like, it's just one of those things. And then like him, like it was the perfect thing. And then all of a sudden they signed Aguilar. It's like, holy shit. Yep. Okay, awesome. Nice piece.
Cool.
Nice piece. Oh, you signed Kendrick Bourne. Okay. I liked Bourne when he was with the Niners. Like
100%.
Little, very
number
very,
one receiver for a Super Bowl team. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Don't hate that. Don't hate that at all. And then I was like, oh wait, you got Matt Judon? Are you fucking
And the thing is, Judon was disrespected, so a lot of other teams weren't going after him because Baltimore runs a weird defensive scheme, and they weren't using Judon like the Patriots are using Judon. So a lot of other teams are like, all right, are we going to throw the bag at this guy and then have him just not work out because we're running a fairly normal scheme or a different scheme than what he was running? And Bill's like, I'll make the best out of him. He'll come here. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's a killer.
What was it? People didn't think that – people thought Judon could only – pass rush, right? Or was it just
edge they thought he was more of like a run stop and like contain guy.
Yeah,
because he didn't put up sack numbers, like big sack numbers.
Then I think Judon's success here, not only does it show how smart Belichick is, what the hell are they doing over in Baltimore? Because if you have
they have no pass rushers.
Judon over there, and it's like he's over there, getting I don't want to look at
and they have bird bites on them, like they can get him at a discount.
They could have got him. Yeah, they could have prevented this from happening.
Dude, Baltimore and all the other teams are again like that meme with like, they can't keep getting away with this.
How do they keep getting they can't? The Patriots did. They gave everybody a year to go have your fun. Yep. Like, hey, guess what?
Who's gonna win? Like it's a toss up this year. I don't know who's gonna win the Super Bowl, but it won't be us. Somebody else figure it out. And then this year, Bill's like, yeah, I think we'll take that again.
We're gonna take that. The parents are back from vacation. We're gonna take over the house again. Give me the keys.
Like the end of Project X, when he comes back, he's like, all right, pull the car out of the pool, clean up the back patio. We're home. We're going back to normal.
Get out of here, Buffalo. Give me the keys to the division. Give me the keys. No. I know I know you liked it. I know you liked it. Just
you guys are starting out hot. I get it. You guys are good right now, but it's not gonna last. Just trust us. We'll be in first place soon.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, it's one of those things. There's like, here, give me the keys to the Escalade. I got this little Toyota Yaris for you right here. It's second place. It's not hard.
It works.
It'll still get you to where you need to be. Yep. Great gas mileage. It's just not.
You know where you need to be? You need to be watching us in the second round of the playoffs. That's where you need.
That's what you need to be. Okay. If you work hard someday, kid, maybe you too can have this Escalade known as the AFC East.
Maybe. Or you can just come over and join us, and then you get it and you get paid.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so funny, by the way, seeing all the Buffalo Bills fans after the Thanksgiving game. They were like, "Oh, we're coming back to the AFC East." I'm like, "Yeah, dumbass. Like the week isn't even over. Like the
I know.
Patriots
Like
haven't
they
played."
haven't played. And somebody was saying that. They're like, oh, Buffalo's like first right now. It's like the Patriots haven't played yet. They're gonna get the dub. So it's
like,
irrelevant.
yeah, like I guess they're first. Like, and I saw, like, I thought it was your typical, like your Ben Bolins, who hates the Patriots, but he still covers them.
Always.
You have like these guys who are like, oh, with the win today, the Patriots jump into the third seed. I'm like, no. With a win today, the Patriots stay in the third seed. And then just so happens it fell to where they end up getting to the second seed. But it's like, it's just how some of these people talk. They want the Patriots to fail so bad.
It's
and they're just
hysterical.
not going to. And part of that reason, not just Matthew Judon, it's JC Jackson. Our boy had another pick and a forced fumble.
Okay.
He is.
I have a question for you. Where would you rank him among best cornerbacks ever in New England history?
Okay, well,
is he top 5?
Well, you got Ty Law,
of course.
You put so Revis got to be in there, right? Because Revis was on the team.
Does he lose points for only being here for a year, even though it was a basically flawless year?
Yeah, a year isn't enough. Gilmore, Ty Law.
Gilmore's number 1, or is this no order?
No order. I mean, yeah. I don't know. See, Ty Law, it's sentimental for me with Ty Law because it's just, that's like me.
Seeing him later waving as he goes down the sideline for pick 6 in the Super Bowl.
For
me, it's Asante Samuel right here. This little black hole that pumps blood, tequila, and acid through my veins. There's a little sticker of Asante Samuel over my beating heart.
I will forget what he said in his post-Patriots career.
Mm-hmm.
Asante Samuel is, I think JC Jackson top. Oh God. So what would you say? He's what, 4 behind those guys then? Behind Ty Law, Gilmore, and Samuel?
So would you put him there?
Yeah. Right.
What about Revis? Is Revis not better than him?
You kind of made a good point. I'm not going to count him. That's 1 year.
I would throw him on there. I just don't know
if you put him on there. He has
1.
to be there because Revis to me is the best corner I've ever seen play.
Yep.
So I mean, even though he was here for a year, if you want to put him
in that year was perfect. 3 picks, didn't give up any big plays.
If you're gonna put him on there, you got to put him in front of JC Jackson. To me, you kind of have to. But other than those 4, I can't think of anybody else that you'd put in front of JC Jackson right now.
Definitely not Ellis Hobbs. He was terrible.
I loved Ellis Hobbs in Madden.
Really?
I didn't like him in Madden just because whenever I returned kicks, he was fast as shit.
Oh God, I always hated Ellis Hobbs. Then he went to the Eagles. He was even worse.
I don't know who else you'd put there. There's really no other corner that you would put there. That's it. Ty Law, Gilmore, Revis, Asante. See, I think people might even make the case that JC Jackson is better than Asante Samuel. I don't know if I would make that case. I think that case would be coming from some sour grapes that people have.
Those are somebody. That's a person I'd like to have a conversation with.
Yeah, because
I think there's an argument. I think that I'm open to all arguments.
But no, JC Jackson, how about this? If he ends up signing another contract, I think he leapfrogs Asante Samuel. And just for the pure longevity, I think he leapfrogs Darrelle Revis too.
I'm with you. Yeah, entirely. I definitely think he leapfrogs Revis. Mm-hmm. I mean, just in my eyes, like Asante Samuel can part the Red Sea, can walk on water, can, turn water to wine.
Very good.
Yeah, there are a few people like Mr. Pick 6, so it's like, am I really going to say JC Jackson over him? Like, we'll see. If they give him the bag and he keeps killing it, more power to him. Yeah, I might have to admit at that point through gritted teeth, but.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to put him in front of Ty Law, just because not only Ty Law came up big in the biggest moments too, and then Gilmore was just amazing his whole career.
He was. So, and he very well could have won Super Bowl MVP. So I'm like.
He could have. Oh yeah, he could have. Speaking of Gilmore, by the way, I remember everybody said the Patriots defense was gonna, suck when Gilmore left.
Do you remember that? That's crazy.
Doesn't seem like it.
He hasn't played for us all season.
No.
And what was that stat you said in the last 3 games? We've haven't given up any points in the second half.
None. Zero. Goose.
And over the last 4 games, we've let teams score less than 25 points combined.
Combined. That's an important word, guys.
Yep.
Combined.
And
add them all up, less than 25.
Yeah, in the last 5-6 games, 25 points. That's pretty wild. So yeah, no, I guess Stephon Gilmore didn't make that all that much of an impact.
No.
Kind of awkward.
See that it just puts a smile to my face, because you had so many people who were saying, "Oh my God, I can't." And it happens every single big name player that leaves the Patriots. It happens. Oh my God, person X left. They let go of Jamie Collins. What? They let go of even Laurie Malloy. They got rid of Laurie. And again, still
Ty Law. They got rid of Ty Law. He went to
the Jets too. They let go of him. They let go of even Chandler Jones is one of my favorite players, but the defense didn't necessarily get hurt because he left. It was one of those things where it's the Belichick knows what he's doing. I think people need to finally admit that he's going to make mistakes. That's why it's not blind faith. His track record, pretty damn good. So when he lets go of someone like Gilmore, Gilmore even said himself this week, he's not back to 100% yet.
Yeah. And so clearly he made the good decision. And I don't want to take anything away from JC, but I'm convinced Bill could start an expansion team and take everyone's second or third string defensive players and still have a top 10 defense out of just guys that he's picking out from people's depth. He's just so good. And that's what he's preached. Everyone knows he's the big defensive guy. That's why Josh McDaniels is the offensive guy. He's an absolute wizard. I can't say enough about him. I don't have enough vocabulary in this small brain of mine to truly describe how unfathomably good Bill Belichick is at his job, at coaching defense, picking personnel, maybe not so much on the draft all the time, but everything else.
Yeah, no, he's the guy. And I know it's the cliche. It always gets said. He finds what you do the best and he makes you the best at it.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you do X, Y, and Z well. Okay, I'm not gonna make you cover if you're not good at covering. Sure, I might see if I can, train you to cover, but if I can't, I'm not gonna have you drop back, on almost every snap. No, you're gonna rush the passer. That's pretty much it.
Did you see your boy Sean Wade on Sunday?
I saw Sean Wade sighting. Yeah. Finally.
He ended up getting a tackle too. I was like, all right, he's doing something. And that's just the same thing. He's like, this dude was cast out by every other team. I wonder why. I'll bring him in. Maybe he is bad. Maybe he's not. And apparently we've held on to him for this long. There must be something worth keeping about him. So he hasn't made any big plays yet, but I'm keeping eyes on him.
Yeah, there's something. It's players like that who I guarantee you, Sean, he'll make one big play from now to the end of the year.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what it's going to be.
A virtual certainty.
If it's going to be, it's going to be one of those. He sticks someone on 4th and 2. Yep. Who it's it's one of those passes to the flat, and he comes up and knocks the ball out.
Yeah,
it's a big pick. It's a big. It's something. He's going to do something. That's going to be like, oh, that's why they kept him on the roster.
Yep.
That's why that's why they held on to him. That's why they didn't go out and try to fill that hole, because they had him. Just like what we saw with Miles Bryant. Miles Bryant did let up he let up a couple passes, but
he didn't have a spectacular game, but he tries so hard. I can't give anything against him.
Yeah, that's just it. Yeah, he tries.
It's all effort.
Busts his ass.
Yeah. And he was an undrafted guy. He's coming in, like you said, there are no expectations. Bill's not lock this guy up. If you let up a catch, I'm putting you on the bench. He's like, don't give up 100 yards.
Yeah, that's all it is. And when you can make the tackle, which I mean, for the most part, granted, there were some missed tackles on that blown run. It is what it is. But Miles Bryant, solid tackler. Everybody else on the team, solid tackler. That's why you keep these players. That's why he signs these players. And I'm not saying Belichick is, this is the only way to build a team, but he finds players that he can fit in his system. He doesn't just get these huge names and say, oh no, we'll just kind of throw you in the system and hopefully it works. No, he says, okay, cool. So you're a receiver who is good at route running, who can block, who can break it deep, has decent hands. Okay, yeah, cool. Come here.
Of course. And you said that's obviously not the only way to coach, because most people don't do that. In fact, most people go the other way. As somebody who almost to a fault supports the Eagles, they signed that absolute disgrace, that oxygen thief, that person who even the mere mention of his name run chills up my spine and hurts my brain. They signed Nnamdi Asomugha and forced him to play zone. And he's a man-to-man corner. He made his money playing man-to-man on the Raiders. He was one of the best corners in the league on the Raiders, D'ing people up man-to-man. The Eagles bring him over and force him into this terrible zone Tampa 2 scheme, and the whole thing fell apart, and he was the worst cornerback I've ever seen with my own two eyes. And most coaches are just like, if they're good players, they'll make it work, and they just put it all on the players. Where if Bill Belichick signed Nnamdi Asomugha, everyone else on the field is playing zone except for Nnamdi. He's going to be like, we're playing cover 2 over the top, but you are manned up.
Exactly.
You're the only one in man. Don't let your guy do this. You have over the top safety help if need be, but lock him up. And that's the difference between him and other teams.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it is. I mean, it's just like, you're not going to sign Darrelle Revis and have him play zone.
Yeah.
Like that's not,
I mean, he can do whatever because he's a perfect
guy. Granted,
but like,
he will here and there, but that's not what you're going to, like, you're going to sign him and say, hey,
he likes to trail the guy.
Yep, that's it. Just get him. You know,
yep.
the Nnamdi Asomugha, was that like the dream team year, or when he said we got the super team or whatever the hell it was? Was that same year when they said that? It was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Okay, I can tell. I think I struck a chord. I think I struck a chord with Liam. Yeah, I don't see. This is where the disconnect comes into play. I do not like the Eagles. Liam is twitching right now. His eyes is twitching. He's got some weird Joker smile going on. He is an Eagles fan, unfortunately. I know. You can pray for him at night. But
I pray for me at night too.
That was the year. But yeah, no, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the Eagles anymore. This is a Patriots podcast. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, this team was good. This team was good. I was a little surprised. I thought they'd be able to run the ball a little bit more against the Titans, but I get it. The Titans do have a good front. So
yep. And their weakness all year has been the pass game. So I expect them to come out and pass. And even their rushing numbers aren't terrible. Hell, both running backs got 40 yards, but they had some both good chunk plays. Like Damian Harris's run, he bruised his way into the end zone.
Yep.
That poor corner that he hit on the way to the end zone, probably still having heart palpitations after that hit. And Ramondre Stevenson gave his best Mike Allstott impression, bouncing off fools up the middle. He was at that one run by Ramondre Stevenson to the left side where he basically gets to the second level, sees the safety, bangs right into him. Both of them stumble back. The safety drops.
And it keeps going. Yeah. And then keeps going for a little bit more. It's like,
and I feel bad. The safety looked like he was paralyzed. Like all his bones just turned to jelly, like Expelliarmus. And he just like his bones disappeared.
Harry Potter. There we go.
But no, it was brutal. And so even it wasn't a spectacular run game, but they did their job. We got a touchdown out of it. The threat was there.
Clearly, because the play action works so well. So that's the thing. That's why you have to keep running, because you need to still have the teams think that you're going to run, and they're going to have to respect it because the running game has been so good over the last 6 weeks. So I mean, that's kind of all I got, I think. What else you got about this game?
I mean, let me see. I got my notes right here. So the run D issues I was slightly concerned with, and the fact that it was a depleted Titans team, that it was still close for the most part. But I wanted to say that this might be, and it's weird to say because it's not that type of league anymore, this might be the most physical Patriots team I have ever seen, ever. Like offense and defense, mostly on defense. The only one that comes close is, again, the Darrelle Revis that
Brandon Brown
defense, because Brandon Brown used to lay wood to poor receivers.
But he came from the Seahawks. That's all they did.
He was, and obviously, he went to jail for beating the shit out of his girlfriend, so he had a lot of pent up anger anyway. I'm sure he was taking out most of that. It's like, you're gonna ask for the remote, bang, nailing the other team's wide receivers. So I was just wondering, do you think this is the most physical Patriots team you've ever seen? Because obviously there's no crucifying hits. Devin McCourty isn't decapitating people like Cam Chancellor has, but everything, they're not afraid to tackle. They're not afraid to block. Our running backs are hitting everything in sight. And on defense, besides this game where there was a few missed tackles, we're a tough team. And I've seen it all year, especially to quarterbacks. Matthew Judon doesn't hold back at all. If Christian Barmore gets to the quarterback, that's 320 pounds dropping flat on a quarterback who's, all of 200 pounds maybe. And it's just, I look at this team and I'm like, this is a physical, scary team. that was one of my notes. I'm like, this is a mean team. And this wasn't even their most physical game. Like I could have said this the last 3 weeks and it would have meant more than means
easily. Now. Yeah. Without like, really like going back, looking, thinking about it, I'd have to agree with you. Like they don't have your, Ed Reeds. They don't have your
they don't
Cam
have the splash
Chancellors,
plays.
they don't have your Ray Lewis hitters, but they just every single player just hits you.
Yeah, we were talking about Miles Bryant, who's like the third string quarterback, and we're talking about how good he is at tackling. Like he's not getting interceptions, he's not getting pass breakups. No. If he's giving him up, they're not getting run after the catch. He's tackling them right there at the spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they're hitting you. I mean, you start with the line on both sides, offensive and defensive. They're just tough. Even if they're not getting to you on defense, they're still pushing you around. They're still letting you know they're there. Exactly. On offense, they're wearing you down. I mean,
waves against a rock. They will slowly form that rock to their will.
That's what they're doing. When you have Trent Brown, who is a massive human, when you have Shaq Mason, when you have Mike Unwindy, when you have David Andrews, when you have Ted Karras over there, what do you do with that? Isaiah Wynn, another huge guy. And then you got, what's his name? Jakob Johnson, the German destroyer.
And he's a top 5 fullback in the league right now, which honestly isn't saying much. I think there are only 5 fullbacks in the league. There might be like 5 or 6, yeah. But still, he's playing like one of the top fullbacks in the league. He's a physical dude. He wants
to hit. I think that's the thing. It's not that this team hits you. It's not that they have any like whoppers. They just want to hit you. Yeah. They want to, it is controlled violence. It is the definition of controlled violence.
And that's why I'm saying in the modern league, because like you can get away with not being a physical team and still win. Like the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. They weren't a physical team. They were just kind of a speedster team. Plays, exactly. Finesse is a good word for it, where they're going to work around you. They're not going to go through you. Mm-hmm. This team is just brutal to me, and they play traditional football. Like Bill Belichick growing up watching his dad play football, this is the type of football that the Patriots are playing right now.
Yeah. I mean, it goes to show they're still one of the only couple handful of teams that still utilizes a fullback consistently.
God,
they run they run the 2 tight end, 1 running back set. I mean the 2 receivers, 1 tight end set all the time. Not many teams run it as much as we do. Just because you have the 2 tight ends that want to hit, you have the linemen, you have 5 linemen, and then you have whether it's Mike Onwenu or Ted Karras, who will kind of slot in and out with each other. They're starting caliber linemen that are still huge, that still want to hit people.
Yeah.
You have the running.
I wouldn't say Hunter Henry's not a blocking tight end, but that's why we signed Jonnu Smith, because that dude's a house and he wants to block. So it's like even in the positions where they don't want to do the hitting, you have somebody right behind them who's ready to make up for what the person in front of them doesn't do.
Yeah. No, I think I would agree with you wholeheartedly there. This whole team, Adrian Phillips too.
Yes.
I would never want to get hit by him. Jawan Bentley.
He's tiny. He just looks like he packs a punch.
He's just muscle. That's all he is.
Kyle Duggar. Phillips. Now that's a scary guy.
I forgot about that. No, I don't know how I could forget about that.
Yeah, he does slip the mind because he doesn't make all those splash plays, but
he just hits you. That's just it. He just, even everybody down to Jalen Mills. Jalen Mills will still tackle you, still pull you. He's green. JC Jackson.
Yep, he won't cover, but he'll tackle.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, he's been getting a little better. He's been getting.
He's okay.
He's still coming back from that injury a few weeks ago. I think. Yeah, I'm still going to give him that
totally, yeah. You're going to be saying that in week 17. I really think this injury. He's still healing, guys. Come on. It just happened.
Have you ever sprained your ankle? Come on. It takes 10 weeks. Yeah. No, I would agree. I think this is the team, and it's another cliche. Late in the year when it gets cold, nobody's going to want to play this team.
No,
because they're going to hurt you. That's the thing. They're going to hurt you. It's going to be cold. They're going to make it not fun. Like it's going to be one of those gritty, ugly games. They're going to bring you into the mud. They're going to mush your face in the snow. They're going to pants you. They're going to do all these things to you. Yeah. The Patriots are the bullies you don't want to see. I think that's what it comes down to. I think that's why they're starting to rise to the top, because they're literally just bullying teams every week. You don't beat teams by 20 the last 3 weeks without being a really good team.
For sure.
Like, people want to try to diminish it all you want. I know you mentioned the Titans. The Titans did have a lot of players that were out, but still, who said that the Patriots were going to score 36 on them? it's one of those things where, yeah, sure. Like, well, almost like when they beat the Jets. It's like, yeah, they beat the Jets like they were supposed to, but they put 45 on them.
Yeah,
It's like they're not just beating teams, they're making it not even close. And even when it's close during the game, you're still kind of like, yeah, but it still feels like the Pats have the game in hand.
for sure. It's an exclamation point on each win. They're not just winning; they're winning with gusto.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing with their second half. They haven't allowed any points the last few games in the second half, and I think that just goes to show you that they're tiring teams out. Teams don't want to play them once they come out of halftime. They're like, shit, we got to go against them again.
Yeah.
Oh God, I see Judon with his stupid red sleeves. I got to deal with him again. Like, come on, come on.
Ain't nobody
yeah,
got time for that.
yeah, no, I think it's a great win, great kind of statement win there. I think my MVP, I'm gonna go Mac Jones. I don't think I've gone Mac Jones all year.
Really?
I don't think I might have early. I'm gonna go Mac Jones. He put 300 on a top defense in the league, dropped 2 touchdowns. No real bad throws, just a couple misses. I think that's it. Mac Jones, by the way, 85% of his balls are catchable balls. That is far and away leading the entire league in catchable balls.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Holy shit. 85% of them.
Either 85 or 87. I will double check as we speak. But yeah, Mac Jones, he is going to be my MVP for the week, I would say. I think.
For sake of differentiation, I will lean towards. I'll go with Kendrick Bourne. I mean, I think that obviously 2 touchdown game, like it's kind of like he was the best performer on offense type deal. There wasn't enough on the defensive end that really captivated me just because we gave up so much in the run game, and no particular defensive player stuck out. We just play so well as a unit. Do you have those numbers?
I can't see him right now. I'm trying to have my thing load up.
Damn it. I thought you had him. I was excited to see if it was.
I'm trying. Yeah.
But
I'm pulling it up.
I mean, like, I just got to go with Kendrick Bourne. I'm a huge fan. Like, one of the reasons why I love football is any given week, like, anyone can just have a stellar game. Like, I love to see, like, the random guys just go out there and ball. And obviously, he's not some random guy. He's our starting wide receiver. But he had a fantastic game, and he's been good all year. But I've been waiting for that one, like, kind of big game from players like that. Like, I'm waiting for Nelson Aguilar to do something similar to.
Yep.
We talked about how Jonnu Smith. And when those guys do it, they'll be my MVP too. With football, there was 16, now there's 17 games in the regular season, and that leaves a lot of opportunity for guys to just shine in individual games. And I love giving guys big performances and big props when they show up big in certain games. So Kendrick Bourne, man, the catch and run for that tub, and then we didn't even talk about his catch in the end zone where it's bobbled around and it looks like it's kind of over his shoulder. And honestly, I think that's like a 9 times out of 10 you drop that. Like, he had somebody in his face and this dude just swinging his arms around trying to knock the ball out. I watched the replay 3 or 4 times and I still can't figure out how he caught that ball. Just exceptional effort.
People don't normally do.
In the pass was perfect too, which is why you should say Mac Jones MVP. I get it. The pass was perfect. But at some point, the pass can be as perfect as it is. If you're in tight coverage like that, it's hard to make that catch. And he's walking backwards too, trying to make this catch, trying to get his feet in bounds, get possession. Honestly, crazy all around. Kendrick Bourne showed that he can be kind of a number one receiver here without putting up the flashy yards. It's all about touchdowns, baby. He put up 14 points on the board for us.
Yeah, no, and that was against Byard too from the Titans, who's all pro, like an all pro cover guy.
Kevin Byard.
He's good. He's not bad by any means. He may not be as good as he was a couple of years ago, but he's a solid, very good player.
He's a top 5 safety in my opinion. I mean, there aren't many good safeties anymore.
Yeah.
So that
and I think I saw something where the Pats targeted him 5 times or 6 times, and they were 5 or 6 against him. Brutal. That's insane that they're targeting these players now. But yeah, just a great win, great overall, just great kind of statement win in the AFC. Like, hey, you all thought, we haven't beaten anybody, and you're still saying we haven't beaten anybody because it's the Titans, which is fine. And I'm sure next week against the Bills, this is the Bills without Tre'Davious White who got hurt. So you're still not beating anybody. Speaking of the Bills game, Monday Night Football, next week, huge game to see
Tremendous.
who's going to take over the AFC East, because I think this is what it's going to come down to. This game,
That's
if
the
the
hottest
Pats
talking
win,
point in the league, it seems like right now.
it is, even though, like, everybody always said the shit division and all that. They're probably one of the stronger divisions in football right now, because Miami is a little pesky team. They're going to put up a fight here and there. The Bills are what they are. Patriots are one of the best teams in the NFL. So I don't know. This is going to be a very, very tough game. I know the Bills are good. It's in Buffalo. I don't know if I'm going to pick with my heart or my head here.
When it comes between my head and appendages on my body, I more times than not choose with appendage, and it's a shameful realization to me.
Rightfully so.
And I think I am going to have to differentiate here. I think the Patriots go in and get a mean dub in the snowy weather in Buffalo. I really, and this is the first time that normally I try and be the rational guy. I try and be down to earth. I try and think of things from the perspective of, hey, even playing field. I am trying to take my bias out of this. What would actually happen if I wasn't a fan of one of these franchises? And even still, whether I do that or whether I don't, I think the Patriots go in here and win. They have all the momentum. They're riding a fat win streak. The Bills obviously just crushed the Saints, which is big for them. But that's one game out of a last 3 or 4 that have been mostly a disappointment. Their offense clearly isn't as good as it has been before.
Nope.
And barring last year, obviously it's tough to completely disregard 1 year. Bill's been pretty good against the Bills and Josh Allen particularly. Like, obviously, in that last game last year, the Bills killed us. Like, Stephon Diggs had like 3 touchdowns or some bullshit like that. Yeah. But at that point, we kind of punched in. The season was over. The game before that, if Cam Newton didn't fumble, I firmly believe we win that game. Yeah. I think Bill knows how to do this. And just because it's up in Buffalo, I get it, hostile crowd, but it's basically the same weather as New England. Maybe slightly colder because it's up by the Canadian border. But nothing the Patriots aren't used to. They're used to the cold anyway. At some point, cold is cold. If they're playing in Florida, then it's different. And then they come to the cold, then it sucks. But cold is cold. I believe Bill's going to have this team ready to play. And all the hype is going to be around Buffalo. Everyone's like, Buffalo's the high-powered offense. The Patriots are just kind of teetering along, beating on bad teams. The practice squad Titans, the beaten down Baker Mayfield Browns and all these other teams. They beat the Jets twice, who are terrible. They're talking about all these bad teams that the Patriots beat, when I think they can go in there and make a huge statement win, completely seal off the East, and punch their ticket to the playoffs in a statement win over Buffalo.
I fucking love that. I love that. Baby. You know what's funny? I agree. Whoever wins this, I think this is, if the Patriots win this game, I think that's the East.
Yep.
I think, because at that point, you have the tiebreaker and you're up 2 games in the division.
And hell, maybe come second game around, maybe I think Buffalo wins in New England. Maybe I don't. But right now, I'm just there's no reason for me to think otherwise with the Patriots. So much and that's my thing. Like, every reason for me to say the Patriots are going to lose just doesn't have enough weight. I don't have enough backup behind it. I can't really wield a strong hammer when I bring my downer case here.
You know what's funny? And I would just look at something, because you said something about the Bills' high-powered offense, right? Kind of looking. So the most the points for. So the teams that have scored the most points this year. The Bucs, number 1. Colts are number 2, which is interesting. Do you know who number 3 is? The Patriots. And then you know who number 4 is? The Bills. They have both. The Bills and the Patriots have both scored, or no, the Bucs have scored 347 points. Colts have scored 340. Patriots have scored 336, and the Bills have scored 326. So
it's a lot closer than people think.
It's a lot closer. And then when you're looking at defense, Bills have overall the number 1 defense in the league. You know who has the number 2 defense? The Patriots. This is going to be this right here is going to be who comes out of the AFC, in my opinion.
I think so too.
I think so.
And that's like, this is maybe the most anticipated game of the year for the whole season.
Easily.
Whether you're a fan of the Patriots or the Bills or not, like this is a tremendous matchup for teams to win the division. I think the Broncos play the Chiefs for number one in their division this week too. So between those two games, there is some heated competition coming down the pipe here. And I think the Patriots could surprise everyone, even though, like you just said, the numbers don't make it seem like it's that much of a surprise or that's slanted in one direction. Everyone I've talked to, everything I've seen online, all evidence points to people thinking the Bills are the much better team. And I'm not getting that vibe. I'm not picking that up at all.
No, me neither. I think it's just because of Mac Jones, just because there's a rookie there. I think people are afraid to say it. I mean, like if you're looking at these teams in general, yards per game, Bills are second, the Patriots are third. I mean, they're very, very close. Rushing yards per game, a little bit different because the Bills are, pretty good there. They're fifth. I think Patriots are middle of the league right now. They might be worse.
I didn't think the Bills were that good at running the ball.
No, defense, rush defense.
Oh, rush defense. Yeah, I was like, hold on. I was like, the Patriots run the ball all the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Rush defense. Okay.
No. How many yards the Bills have rushing the ball? I will actually tell you, sir, right now. They're 11th in the league.
What are the Patriots?
Patriots are 12th. Dude, this is
obscene.
This is like
they're neck and neck in all metrics.
So I think when you're neck and neck like this, I think two things are going to come into play. The second thing I'm going to save to the end, because I think if the second thing happens, I think the Patriots win no matter what.
Yeah.
I think when the teams are this close, you kind of look at momentum, how the season's going. Patriots are on a 6-game winning streak. The Bills have lost to the Jaguars. They had shitty showings against Miami. They haven't had a good last few weeks. I think I'm going to go with the Patriots in Buffalo.
Are you?
I think this is the team. You know what it goes back to? Let's bring it full circle. You said this Patriots team, one of the most physical, hard-hitting Patriots teams probably that we've seen.
Yeah.
I think that travels. That is what you can do to silence a crowd. That's how you can play bully ball. That's how you can really kind of go into hostile territory, take the hits, and then punch them in the mouth. And I think that's what the Patriots do. They're going to have to weather the storm because, the Bills are going to come out hot. They're probably going to score on their first drive, like what tends to happen against the Patriots. But I will tell you this, if it snows, the Patriots are 100% winning.
Yes.
100% winning. I have no facts behind that. All I have is that I love snow football. Inkling. I love snow football. When it started to a couple flakes I saw against the Titans, I jumped out of my seat. Yeah. I looked over to my wife.
Patriots are winning.
I looked over to my wife. I was like, hey, dude, it's snowing. It's snowing. Look, it's snowing.
Like
I'm
Buddy the Elf.
That was me. I was like, Santa. I was like, it's snow. Yeah. And I was sitting there licking it like him when he's out there seeing snow. If it snows, the Patriots are winning 100%. Bet all the money in the world on them. But even if it's not, even if it's just cold, this Patriots team is the type of team that can go into an environment like that and go toe to toe, beat you in the trenches, just wear you down. Like you said, waves against Iraq. Eventually they're going to do it. They're going to run the ball. It's not going to work at first, I'm sure. It's going to be some ugly, the first few drives are going to have 16, 17 yards rushing or something like that. But it's just going to keep getting better and better. And then Mac Jones, I mean, granted, he's not going to throw a party on the Bills, but I don't think he's going to make the mistake. The big thing, the Bills are missing Trey White. They're missing their
which is tremendous
top defense.
You and me have been talking about that. And if you 3 weeks ago, I was basically all in on the Bills winning this game and then us winning in Foxborough.
Me too.
Things have changed. The Patriots have won games. They've garnered momentum, and the Bills have lost momentum and lost their best defensive player.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Patriots right now are probably the healthiest they've been. Actually, no, not even probably. They are the healthiest that they've been. Whether it's everybody on the line is healthy, running backs are all back from concussions, anything like that. Everybody's healthy. Wide receivers are healthy. The tight ends are healthy. Mac Jones is healthy. This is the healthiest the Patriots have been going against. And they're going to need it because they're going against, this is the test. I don't care what anybody says. This is the test. Another reason, Josh Allen likes to kind of scramble, run around a little bit.
He's always looking for the home run.
I just don't see that happening because if you hold on to the ball like Allen, because he's always trying to look for digs deep. That's always what he's trying to do. Once things aren't there, he looks around real quick, tries to extend the play. You're not going to be able to do that against guys like Barmore.
It's going to be real hard for him to find digs when JC puts him in the gulag.
Oh yeah. No, I think JC Jackson's out to prove something. I think he's out to prove not only that he is a number one corner, but he wants to get paid. So he's going to
come in here Tuesday singing Akon, locked up. They won't let me out. I'm ready for it.
I think JC Jackson locks him down. I mean, you have I can just picture Allen sitting there. It's a regular 4-man rush from the Patriots. They kind of contain him a little bit, and it's like a delayed blitz from like Van Noy or something like that. And he comes in, flushes him out, and then Judon hits him. Like it's going to be one of those things where he's going to try to extend plays. They have designed rushes for some reason with Josh Allen. I get that he's a big dude, but you got to stop doing that because I think that I think we said it a couple of weeks ago. I think Jawan Bentley, take it to the bank. One play this game, he is going to demolish
Josh Allen. Lumber.
Because Josh Allen's going to try to do the thing where he's big. Josh Allen, normally he's bigger than half the defensive guys coming together.
He trucks defenders and shit like that.
Of course he does. Of course. But I guarantee you he's not trucking Adrian Phillips. He's not trucking any of the Patriots linebackers. And God forbid Matt Judon gets hones in on him at one point.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know. I think this is the game where, hunting season. Brian Burns lost again this week.
I think that backfired. I think Brian Burns put out the hunting memo, and then Judon was the only one that really took that one to heart. And now everyone else kind of laid off and is chilling in their log cabins with whatever little hunt they had. Judon's out there getting all the rest of the deer.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I think that definitely backfired. I know you actually sent me a quick little video before we came on
hilarious.
Here. Brian Burns, having a little hissy fit on the side.
Yeah, he was kind of pissed.
Listen, I don't know if someone grabbed his ankle. They very well might have. I think that might be sensitive. There's always that spot when someone touches you, it just like tickles you. You're like,
I don't like people touching my neck. Like I just get sensitive about it. I get upset. So maybe his ankles.
It must be
a tough spot for him.
Must be the ankle. It was Adrian Beltre used to play for the Rangers, Red Sox. It was always this thing. If you touch his head, he would like swing the bat at you. Like he would get pissed. Like anybody. It would be like an instant thing where he would turn into the Hulk and then be fine. That must be Brian Burns. I'm sorry, Brian. Bry guy. Seems like someone.
Sounds like quite the burden for you. I can't imagine what you must be going through.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. But you hunting season, I guess, though. But
hunting season.
Anyway,
so what's your score prediction?
Back to teams that actually matter.
Yeah.
Score. I don't think this is going to be like a 36-13. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. No.
Weather dependent, I think, for me.
So I'm going to take into account that I think it's going to be cold, and I think it'll start snowing as the game goes on. I think we're going to be looking at a 23 to, you know what? It's going to be a 23-13. That's what it's going to be. I don't know why I'm sitting here trying to think. You know what's going to happen? I think it's going to be kind of close. I think Josh Allen's going to throw a pick. I think there might be a defensive score because I do think he's going to get greedy. He's going to try to do something. He's going to be in the pocket, go to throw it, get it, strip sack, something like that. Yeah, 23-13 Patriots. I don't think the game is going to feel that close either, if that makes sense. I think the game it's going to you're going to see that the Bills really are the little brother of the division in this. I think the Patriots make a huge statement in Buffalo, 23-13.
I like it. I can take that. I can dig that.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's big. I think it's bloody. I think America hasn't seen a massacre like this since General Custer was putting up his fight. I think
Tell him.
This ends up being a 33-13 game. Patriots put a resounding ass kicking, a 20-piece served up fast and quick from McDonald's all over the Bills. I think by game's end, Buffalo Bills fans, instead of putting themselves through pong tables. They're putting themselves through the ice of Lake Erie and hoping that they freeze and drown, because they will be no hope, no rejoice, nothing to really look forward to this season. Bill Belichick is going to go in there and, like Anakin Skywalker did to all those little Jedi kids, he's going to kill them all. He's going to kill them all in brutal, brutal fashion with no remorse, no justice, just swift dick kicking the whole way through. Give me Patriots 3-3-1-3, book it.
Ooh, how do you think it's going to happen? Is it going to be one of the ones where, do they pass on them, run on them, both? Does the defense score? Is it going to be, or is it just going to be kind of just an overall, just
I think it's a classic Patriots game we've seen all season. Mac Jones, no more than 2 touchdowns, mostly mean running game, and a good amount of Nick Folk field goals. Mm-hmm. I mean, to get to a 33 score, that means you have to get, you
need field goals. You need field goals to get there.
You need 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals to get to 20. So you need 3 field goals and 3 touchdowns. So I'm thinking Mac Jones, 2 passing tubs, Ramondre Stevenson rushing score, and then 3 field goals from Nick Folk, followed up by more yards from Damian Harris, but Stevenson gets the tub.
Ooh, I would like that. Yeah. I would
That's
like
what
that. I feel like recently it's been the opposite.
And they're just trying to switch it up. I'm trying to think as unpredictable as possible, because Bill's right now over in Foxborough in a pitch black room, probably ripping cigarettes and staring at his computer and just like, all right, what are they expecting? They think Damian Harris is going to get the ball. We're going to give it to Stevenson. We're going to run a fake field goal. We'll bring this guy off the sideline. They'll have no idea what to do. Like, I know he's over there cooking up the most unpredictable shit possible. So in my mind, I'm like, what's the most unpredictable score? Who's the most unpredictable to score? How is this going to go down? Hell, one of those touchdowns, maybe Mac throws 1 touchdown and maybe we get a defensive touchdown. I'm thinking scoop and score if there is a defensive touchdown.
Yep. I can see that, just because Josh Allen trying to extend the play or something like that. Here's a new one. Who do you think is going to be the game MVP?
Okay. The game MVP, it's going to have to be if we win this game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course, if we win. Yeah. If we don't win, then forget everything we just said.
It's going to have to be somebody on the defensive end. And I go back and forth between either JC Jackson or Barmore, Judon, one of those guys. It has to be somebody who either takes out the best receiver, so JC Jackson completely stopping Stephon Diggs, or Judon in the defensive line. Maybe it's the whole defensive line as a cohesive unit. They're my MVP, because if they can put enough pressure where Josh Allen can't even get a good pass off, can't sit in the pocket, so he's not getting deep balls, he's getting short routes. If you force him to take short routes and you just put him under constant duress, and that's maybe where the scoop and score comes from, I'm giving it to the defensive line or JC Jackson if he particularly shines out against Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I think the offense is so balanced that you can't give it to an offensive guy. Like I said, if Mac throws 1 tub, Ramondre gets a tub, Damian Harris has more rushing yards than him. Kendrick Bourne and Nelly are between 30 and 60 yards receiving. Hunter Henry's 2 catches, 28 yards, maybe a tub. It's like they're all going to be so even that I got to give it to a defensive guy. If we beat this Buffalo offense, which is clearly right next to us in all these offensive and defensive metrics,
it's crazy.
It's got to go to the defense.
Yeah, I would agree. And just for the sake of not picking the same thing, because I probably would have picked probably someone.
Unfortunately, I just took out like 5 MVPs for you to possibly pick from, so I didn't make it easy.
That's because I probably, if I was going to go defense, I would probably pick Barmore. I think he's going to break through and kind of just disrupt the game. But I'm going to go offense, and I think this guy, we brought him up earlier. I think he's been putting it together recently. I think this is the Jonnu Smith game. Because I think the Bills are going to want to take away Hunter Henry, so they know that. They're going to have their corners on, Myers, whoever else. I think Smith, this is how you beat a team like the Bills. You come at them with this weird, unorthodox guy who can run it on the sweeps. You can line him up, wide, have a corner on him. He's bigger than the corners. You can line him up tight, have a linebacker on him. And he's faster than the linebacker. I think this is the game. And again, he might not have, Myers might have more yards or something like that, but I think just Jonnu Smith is going to be the engine that
The
makes
impact
the
player.
offense go. Yes, he's going to have the big catches, and I think he's going to have something. It's not going to be a two, a 3 for 40. I think it's going to be he's going to have like 5 catches, 60 yards, maybe even a couple rushes for 20 yards or something in there. I think this is the game where you unleash him because I think that's the last piece to the puzzle. So I think the Bills are going to be expecting all this other stuff. They're going to want to load up against the run. Make sure you don't run on us. Make sure, Myers doesn't get open on third. Make sure Aguilar doesn't go over the top. Cover Hunter Henry in the red zone, please. No one seems to do that. So I think this is the game where Jonnu Smith is the focal point of the offense. I think he's going to be your MVP. And I really hope it is too, man, because he deserves it. He deserves
really
it.
does.
The guy is a quintessential Patriot. He just sits there.
I think you and me love Jonnu Smith more than most other Patriots fans because they're just watching and they're like, hey, like he's good. But you and me are like, he's gonna fucking break out. I know he's gonna kill it.
Because they don't, I think it's just they don't know. Because I think Hunter Henry is the name people know because he played and he played for the Chargers. Chargers are a little bit more mainstream than the Titans were. It was like, oh, we see him. He had the Belichick connection too, where Belichick has loved Hunter Henry forever.
Loves the white guy tight ends.
Loves him. Yeah, loves him. It just Jonnu Smith is the guy that can do so much more than what he's doing. And I think it's only a matter of time. And I think he's just now, because they've been bringing it up too. McDaniel said this is more of a foundation year for him. He's starting to figure everything out. Players figure out things at different speeds. You know what I mean? So I think this is the game where Jonnu Smith shows up and just kind of reminds everybody why he was the first or second, tight end out there in free agency that everybody wanted. So
I'm all for it.
That's what
it gets me going.
Yeah.
My nipples are hard. I could cut diamonds with my nipples right now.
Damn right you can.
I'm all about it.
But yeah, no, I think Jonnu Smith, I think your score prediction would be wild if it happened. If that happens,
it's egregious. I'm the first to admit it. It's egregious. But I'm going for unpredictable across the board here.
It's not, again, it's kind of what we've been saying the last couple of weeks. It's not just this blind homerism. There's reasons behind it.
They're not giving up points. I say they get all these points in the first half, and then maybe they get a field goal in the second half. Maybe. Like, there's no reason to think that they're going to be otherwise.
Maybe. I think, I heard this stat earlier today. I was listening to, I forget what I was listening to. The Patriots, teams kicking against the Patriots are kicking 60%. That is far and away the lowest percentage.
How does that even happen? Just because of special teams pressure?
Everything. Yeah, I don't know whether it's just, I don't, it's one of those weird stats where it's like, I don't know how it happens, but whether it's
Bill's just over there on the sideline, the dogs.
Yeah, doing something. Yeah, using the force to tighten up the goalpost or wave the ball away. I don't know, but that's just another weird
deflating footballs in midair.
Nah, he already deflated the footballs. We already had a whole thing about that.
We're over this.
But yeah, I think I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling a lot better than I thought I was. I mean, check on me, Sunday morning. I'll probably be a wreck. Or no, Monday morning, actually.
Yes.
Trying to see what's going on. But I think if the Pats win this game, which we both have them winning, you buy a little bit more than me. I'm 23-13. You're 33-13. I think this is the game that really seals the East and officially puts everybody on notice. Like, hey, the Patriots are a top team in the NFL. Yep. We're not just limiting it to one conference anymore.
And it's over in the AFC East. It's over in the AFC in general. The Patriots took out their only real competition. The only team I'd be worried about come playoff time is the Chiefs.
Yeah, just strictly because they can always, they can get the chunk plays and
any game, Tyreek Hill.
You never know. And that's one last thing. I said people saying that the Patriots, they don't have the big playmakers who can, get you those chunk plays. They really have to, form drives. Yeah, no shit though. But again, there's pros and cons to each of them because if you're a team like the Chiefs who, they live off those big plays and everything, it's very easy for teams to shut those big plays down. And then what do you do?
Yep.
But for the Patriots, again, it sucks to not have those big plays because it's easier to score that way. But I feel like it's easier to maintain just your steady, 1-2 first down, 1-2-3 first down, 1-2 first down.
Oh, it's a double-ended sword because if it's a 9-play drive compared to a Chiefs 4-play drive.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5 extra plays that you did that puts the ball in harm's way 5 more times.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's a short intermediate passing game, your percentage to complete these short passage are much higher than you would be if you were throwing it deep. So you're putting the ball in harm's way more with volume, but you're also putting it in harm's way less by only throwing it 5 to 8 yards. So regardless, like, it's almost like a toss up either way, and it almost doesn't matter regardless because they both kind of cancel each other out with their pros and cons. So it's just kind of a weird thing. I'd have to crunch the numbers and really see which one's more efficient, but I would imagine it's probably much more difficult to get the 60-yard plays.
Yeah. And it's just people just grasping for straws right now. You know, people are just trying to criticize the team in any way they can, because the New England Patriots are the best team in football. Other than maybe, I don't know who you'd put there.
There isn't anyone else anymore.
Like I'm trying to
we
think.
don't have to argue this anymore, Mike. There's no one else.
I'm trying. You know what?
Fuck it.
The New England Patriots, your best team.
There's no one else.
Tuck Rule Takes is about to sign off, guys. Tuck Rule Takes is the home of your number 2 seed, first place in the AFC East, and overall best team in the NFL, New England Patriots. I can't even talk right now. I got so many. I got goosebumps in my throat. That's how excited I am about this team. And at this point, if you're a Patriots fan and you're not excited about it, like I told Maddie B last week, it's fear. It's coming from a place of fear. You don't want to be proven wrong. You're afraid to put yourself out. You know, it's almost like dating. You're afraid to put yourself out on the limb like that because guess what? You might get shot down. But guess what? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You know who said that?
Amen.
Wayne
fucking Gretzky.
But Michael Scott also said that in The Office. So
yes,
same thing. I think just enough. Don't hold back. Like Liam just said, if you catch yourself holding back, you need someone there who's going to slap you in the face and say, hey, do not hold back. The Patriots have showed you for 6 straight weeks why they are the best team in football. Showed no sign of slowing down. I don't think they stop against the Bills. I think they take it going to the bye week with their heads held high, come out, and then it's the Colts game. And then, and then we'll see what happens.
Walk it to them.
We'll see what happens. But Liam, you got anything else before we dip out of here?
We are the champions.
Dude, we really are. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, you know, it's just it's almost like, you know, when you're playing a game and then like you're in the campaign and then you do like a little side quest. You like a little side mission. And like, you know, you kind of just forget about the main thing and all these things happen. And then you end up coming back. Well, you know, 2020, the Patriots wanted a little side mission. They were out there just, you know, accumulating players and all this stuff, you know, getting their energy up and all those things. Now they're back. You guys are afraid. You're all afraid. I can tell because when you have Rex Ryan giving Bill Belichick compliments, that's when you know you're back. The New England Patriots are back.
Bill Belichick too.
He does. He says it all the time. The Patriots
pretty
are back,
openly.
though. Patriots are back. And you know what the crazy thing is, Liam? The crazy thing, and I will leave you guys with this, the Patriots only had to grab one ankle to do it. How wild is that?
Only one. And just like that, it was like that was the talisman. Like that's all they needed to get. And now they're back to glory. And thank God Mac Jones was our quarterback and able to lock that one down.
Thank God he did. In fact, you know, thank you, Brian Burns, because I think what you did, you lit the fire under Mac Jones.
You're right, Brian Burns. It is hunting season. Everyone else is getting hunted. Get fucked.
Bam. And on that note, guys, I don't think we can end it any better. Mike Sullivan, Liam McDade, Tuck Rule Takes. This was episode 19. We will see you next week for episode 20. Hopefully, after a big AFC Bills win, you beat them. You put the AFC East in the past. Now we're coming for the number 1 seed in the NFL. Like I said, Tuck Rule Takes, Mike Sullivan, Liam McDade. We are out. Enjoy the rest of the week. Get pumped. Get ready. Bills game coming up. Let's go.
Biggest game of the year, baby.
Biggest game. Let's go.